Power. Oburu, listen to him. Oburu is saying, Oburu Ginga, return the cane. The kids are messy in school and at home. Many people are raising the question, do we bring back corporal punishment? What is the constitutional provision of corporal punishment? Were you at home when there was domestic violence between your father and mother, and sufurias were flying all over, chairs were flying all over, sofa sets were flying all over, and as a kid you are held to protect your mother from being beaten, and your father accidentally or intentionally lands a punch on your head as a kid, the punch that was targeted to get to your mother? You cannot subject any human being to corporal punishment. You cannot subject anybody, whether your own child, whether your own wife, whether your own or prisoners in prison, you cannot subject them to physical torture. Physical torture means kuchapa na viboko, makofi, mangumi, or anything. This is a follow-up explainer after the previous explainer that has elicited thousands and thousands of comments. Many young people, many children have scars that were inflicted by their parents. Many of the children remember the horrid life they underwent through the hands of their mothers and their fathers. They can't contain what offense did they do. They cannot understand. They never applied to be born by these parents. They never made an application. When you want to be a policeman, you make an application by running to be recruited by as a police officer. These kids never went there. Many of the children at that time have burns, scalded. Their parents could get rods, hot, cane them behind their buttocks badly. Some of them your ears were stretched, pulled up, screaming like a kid. Some of the children were given over food to eat and finish as a punishment. Some were denied that food. Some of the children were told when it is raining, wake up, go out, as a punishment, so that they are rained. In some areas where there were hailstones, the kids could walk on those white hailstones with a freezing temperature of 0. Some of the children were turned into beasts of burden, being sent to the market, a small girl carrying on top of her head a kibuyu of asali. If it is a tea buying estate, they are carrying that cup full of tea to the buying center. Some of the kids were sent to fetch water from very down of the river. And these kids grew up bitter. Corporal punishment. The number of canes young people received from their teachers and their own parents. Listen, there is a call to bring corporal punishment. Power, Oburu, listen to him.
I don't know how you people in the teaching profession or fraternity are able to instill discipline in your schools without the power of the cane. I don't know how you people do manage. But I hope at one time, people who thought of removing this power of the cane will rethink again and reintroduce it. Because I don't understand how you deal with a student who burns a dormitory. How else do I deal with it?
Oburu is saying, Oburu Ginga, return the cane. The kids are messing in school and at home. Many people are raising the question, do we bring back corporal punishment? What is the constitutional provision of corporal punishment? Do you know some of the kids have been beaten by their parents and they have died? Some of the children have been beaten by their parents and they are disabled and they are deformed badly. Do you know some of the children have withdrawal syndromes? They have no personality because of the way they were beaten, the way they were treated by their parents. Are parents allowed to beat their children? Are parents allowed to shout and scream at their children? Did you grow in a compound when your father was coming drunk? He could yell, he could growl, everybody disappears and hides under the bed. Were you at home when there was domestic violence between your father and mother and sufurias were flying all over, chairs were flying all over, sofa sets were flying all over, and as a kid you are held to protect your mother from being beaten and your father accidentally or intentionally lands a punch on your head as a kid, the punch that was targeted to get to your mother? Were you chased with your mother at midnight when it was raining and you slept outside? What are your memories of your parents? In the episode here, Justice Majanja, the one we finished, Justice Majanja dismissed. Let us see what Justice Kimaru will say in a similar question that was presented before Justice Kimaru in a matter called, this is in the High Court at Nakuru. This is a criminal appeal number 185 of 2004. This is where a father was convicted and sentenced for having beaten his child. It was number 2942 of 2004 at the Principal Magistrates Court at Nyahururu, Kadhoka Ngom. This is Isaac Mwangi Wachira versus the Republic. What are the facts in this matter? The appellant, Isaac Mwangi Wachira, was charged with the offense of subjecting a child to torture contrary to Section 18(1) as read with the Section 20 of the Children's Act. The particulars of the offense were that on diverse dates between 7th of December 2003 and 13th of May 2004 at Wakiongo Trading Center in Nyandarua District, he willfully subjected one Teresia Wangeshi, a female child aged 3 years. This daughter was 3 years, to torture by pinching her with fingernails on the face, ears, back, and thighs. The father pinched the daughter, who was 3 years, using the fingernails at 4 areas: at the face, the ears, the back, and the thighs. Were you ever pinched by your parents? Was your nose pulled at one time? Was your ear pinched? What did your parent put a kidolo on your face and akwambia we ni mjinga? This is what happened. When the appellant was arraigned before court, he pleaded guilty to the charge. He accepted. He was sentenced to serve 3 years in imprisonment. The appellant was aggrieved and he went against the conviction before the judge in Nakuru. Justice Kimaru, then a judge in Nakuru. What does he say? According to the facts stated to the trial court by the prosecution, the father tortured the child of 3 years using his fingernails. On examination by the doctor, it was found that the complainant had injuries of the head, the neck, the thorax, the abdomen, the upper and lower limbs. I have had the opportunity of reading the P3 form, which was produced as an exhibit before this court. That is the judge saying. What is the judge's view? The judge said the father has no justification in injuring the child, his own daughter. He could not be said to have been disciplining a child of 3 years. Neither could the complainant be said to have been at fault to deserve the punishment that was meted out to her by the father. The tragedy of this case is that the appellant is the parent of the complainant. Society expects the appellant to give protection and love to their children, especially when they are of young and tender years. The actions of the appellant in undertaking a sustained and prolonged physical abuse of the child is not an act which can be excused. The judge is mad. The complainant, being helpless and defenseless, does not deserve to have a father of this as his father. It is my considered opinion that the circumstances of this case warrants the custody of the said child and the other children of the appellant to be taken away from the appellant. The appellant cannot be trusted not to harm the said child once he has served his term in prison. In the circumstances of this case, the most appropriate sentence to be meted out to the appellant is a custodial sentence. I hereby sentence the appellant to serve 1 year imprisonment. His sentence shall be deemed to commence on the 9th of July 2004 when he was initially sentenced before this court. What does the judge do? The judge makes an order to remove the children from the custody of the father. The child that was beaten and all other children. Somebody else will be given the custody. 2, the judge said, this is a beast. He's not a father. Fathers must show love. Fathers must show care. Fathers and mothers must show empathy to their children. He sentenced him to 1 year in jail. So the question is, how do you compensate children who underwent through this physical torture in the hands of their parents? Let me look at the constitutional provision of torture. Article 29. C says, every person has the right to freedom and security of the person, which includes the right not to be subjected to any form of violence from either public or private sources. D, to be subjected to any form of torture in any manner, whether physical or psychological. And more specifically, listen, Article 29E, every person has an inherent dignity and the right to have that dignity respected and protected, and I repeat E, from being subjected to corporal punishment. You cannot subject any human being to corporal punishment. You cannot subject anybody, whether your own child, whether your own wife, whether your own or prisoners in prison, you cannot subject them to physical torture. Physical torture means kuchapa na viboko, makofi, mangumi, or anything. Or psychological torture. You cannot. Article 29 makes it mandatory. Anybody who wants to go to bring this is under the Bill of Rights, you must do a referendum to amend. But a very serious issue Vivian raises What about the constitutional provision for going for compensation where parents have beaten their children, where parents have disciplined their children? The answer, the road has been blocked. Justice Majanja dealt with that question, and he found out that move on. Those are old scars. Just move on. I know it is very painful, but the court has said move on. Wakili Dan Omari, bringing it to you the most interesting 2 episodes about torture. These are feelings, these are positions of courts. They do not amount to the position of court helicopter. All that we bring before you are decisions from the courts and the law as it is. Keep watching as we bring controversial decisions always for your watch.